Hola, estudiantes. Here, I want to show you how to make a command in Spanish. And what you have to distinguish when you're thinking about how to make a command, is it a formal command? Are you talking to your brother, sister, friend? Then you're going to use the to form. Is it a formal command? Are you talking to a teacher or are you talking to a group of people? Then you're going to use usted or ustedes. Then you also have to think about if it's affirmative, like affirmative command, you would say, do this, right? Or eat this. Or is it a negative command? Don't eat this. Don't do this. All of those things make a difference on which conjugation you're going to use. It sounds complicated, but it's actually not. So all of the to forms, all of this in yellow, kind of follows the same rules. All of this in blue, the negative to commands, the usted, ustedes, and negative usted and ustedes commands all follow the same rules. So once you get the pattern, I think you won't be intimidated at all. So let's go through the to commands first. So for AR verbs, if you think about the to form, usually you say hablas. That means you speak. But if I want to say you speak, then it's just habla, habla. Take off the S. So for comer, if I want to say you eat, it's going to be come, right? So not comes. Comes means you eat. Where we want to say you eat, like command them to eat, then it's just come. Take off the S. And for IR verbs, open, abrir, becomes abre, abre. So you just take off the S. So it's the regular present tense endings for the to form without the S. That's it. There's a handful of irregular verbs in the to form, and this is them. So venir becomes ven, come. Decir becomes di. Salir becomes sal, leave. Hacer becomes haz, do. Tener becomes ten, have. Ir becomes ve, which is a little confusing because it seems like see, but it means go, go. Poner becomes pon, and ser becomes se with an accent. If you had me in second year Spanish, you'll remember I always said, say amable, be kind. Commanding you to be kind. So one teacher at some time in their life figured out a way to help students remember these irregular to commands. Maybe you saw this last year with Mr. Tobias. And there it is, right? We got Vin Diesel. He's a famous tough guy, actor. And so you kind of just remember Vin Diesel has 10 weapons. He says, yo, I got 10 weapons. But you have to say it like this. Vin Diesel has 10 weapons. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But that's just a way to remember the irregular conjugations for those to commands. All right, how do I get back up to where I was? There we go. Other things to think about, the boot verbs are the same. So if it's a boot verb in the present tense, it's a boot verb in the command tense. So if I want to say, you sleep, demand someone that they sleep, I will say, duerme. I just take off the S. Instead of duermes, you sleep. I say, you sleep, duerme, right? Yeah, I'm going to wait for another, juegas. Normally, it would say juegas, you play. But if I want to say you play, we just say juega, juega. So you take off the S. You don't have to worry about any spelling changes in the to form except for the irregulars. And then we'll come down to the reflexive, and I'll go through those all together with some other, after doing the negative to commands and formal commands. All right, so all of these in blue are going to conjugate a little differently, well, quite differently than the ones in yellow, the to form, the affirmative to form. The negative to form commands. Now, if we want to say to someone, don't talk instead of talk, we say no in front of it, of course. And then you take the opposite verb ending. So AR verbs you're going to use the ER endings. So no hables. No hables means don't talk. Don't talk. For the to form, or for comer, it's an ER verb, so you're going to use the AR ending. So it's going to be no comas. No comas. You use AR endings. Abrir, the opposite of an IR verb is AR also. So instead of abre, it's no abras. So you take the opposite endings, AR verbs. So if it's an AR verb, you add ER endings. If it's an ER or IR verb, you add AR endings. And that's the same for the usted, except you're not going to put a no in front of it because it's not, we're not saying don't talk. We're saying you formally talk. You talk, right? So it's just hable usted. For comer, coma usted, eat, you eat. It's very formal. Abra, see? And then ustedes, same thing. We use the opposite verb ending. So hablar is an AR verb. So if I want to say you all talk, I'm commanding you all to talk. It's going to be hablan. Sorry, hablen, en, because it's opposite endings. And you all eat, coman. You all open, abran. Ustedes abren. See? And then for the negatives, it's easy. You just no, no hable or hablan. Just put a no in front of it. No coma or coman. And no abra or abran. No abran. So nothing tricky about the ustedes negative commands. It's just the to form negative is different than the to affirmative. The to affirmative is all by themselves here. They just take off the S. And then all the other ones, it's the opposite verb endings. Another thing to think about with irregular verbs, pretty much the same ones that are regular in present or excuse me, to form are also irregular in the usted and ustedes. So what you do for these irregular ones, you have to think about how do they conjugate in the yo form present tense. So venir in the yo form present tense, I'm going to put a no here, is vengo, right? Vengo. But you take off that o, and then you add the opposite verb ending. So no vengas, because venir is an IR verb. So we want AR endings. No vengas. And then usted is just going to be venga, come. And then you all come and be vengan. And then you all don't come, no, venga or vengan. That's the polite way to say that. Decir, also irregular in the yo form present tense. Maybe you learned these as go-go verbs, right? So it's digo, yo digo. So take off the o, digo, add the opposite verb ending. So it's an IR verb, so we want the AR ending. So no digas, don't say it. Or if we want to be formal, we say diga. Say, oops. Let's go down here. Diga. Or we want to say, you all say, digan. Or no digan. You guys can watch this on double speed if you need to on YouTube. I won't be offended. All right, salir in the yo form, it's salgo. So we take off the o, add the opposite ending, salgas. No salgas, don't leave. Or salga, leave. Or salgan, y'all leave, commanding you all to leave. Or no salgan, don't leave, y'all. All right. Here's another one. Hacer in the yo form is hago. Hago, take off the o, add the opposite ending, as, because it's an ER verb. So it's no hagas. And then it's haga. Hagan. And no haga or no hagan. And tener in the yo form is tengo, so no tengas, you don't have it. Tenga suerte, have some luck. Tengan, no tengan. And ear, ear is just kind of weird. So the yo form of ear is boy. This one doesn't really follow the rules where you take off the O and add the opposite ending. You just have to remember that it's vayas for the two form. No vayas for the usted form, vaya. For the ustedes, vayan. And no vayan. All right, poner, here we go, is another one. So it's no, pongo is the verb, so no pongas. Ponga, put, pongan. Pongan and no pongan. I have to put those in parentheses. All right. So the yo form of ser is soy. It's kind of different too. Like voy, you don't just take off the, there's no oi, it's a o, there's an oy. So soy becomes no seas, or sea, sean, or no sean. So anything that's irregular in the yo form present tense is going to be irregular in the negative two commands, usted, ustedes commands, and the negative ustedes commands. Boot verbs. Boot verbs are the same. So you conjugate it in the yo form, duermo, take out the O, add the opposite ending, because the verb is dormir. Let me write that over here, dormir, right? So dormir becomes duerme in the regular, the two form command. No duermas, as, opposite ending. Duerma, duerman, no duerman. Here, I do want to do jugar with you. Jugar is kind of tricky. In fact, yeah, jugar has one of these spelling change things. So you still go to the yo form, no juego, take out the O, add the opposite verb ending. So jugar is an AR verb, so you add the ER-IR endings, which is ES. However, if you just leave it like that, it's pronounced no juegues. We want it juegues, no juegues. So you have to add a U in there to make it the hard G sound, g. All right, which actually that brings us to the commands with spelling changes. So jugar has the spelling change. Actually, you don't have to worry about spelling changes in the too informal. But once you get into the blue section, there's verbs that have spelling changes. For example, tocar. Tocar can mean to play or to touch, right? So tocar is toco, AR verb. It's an AR verb. So we want the ER endings, toques, but if we do it like that and add ES without changing the C, it's pronounced toses, but we want it to be toques. So you have to change that C to a Q and add a U. No toques, no toques. And then this would be toque, toquen, no toquen, and so on. That's some of those things. You have to think, like, if it's a J, you're going to add a GU. If it's a C, you're going to change it to a QU. Reflexives. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. Let's do a regular AR reflexive as an example. Bañarse. Dang it. Of course, I got one with a accent on it. Doesn't. So bañarse. So for a negative two commands. Yay! Nice. All right. So if the say form, remember they changed to mete se, no so se. So we are conjugating this in the two commands. So that's going to change to a te. Actually, let's do it. Bañarse. Oh my God. Let's do it this way. Let's take off the say to start with. And we have a regular AR verbs. So bathe, bañar, becomes, I do want to leave that. It becomes baña. Baña, right? But we have to have the say. We want to say bathe yourself, baña. So the say changes to a te because it's the two comorns. It becomes bañate, bañate. And now, because we added the te on the end, we have to add an accent to that first A to keep the stress there. So it becomes bañate, bañate. All right. For negative commands, you put the te in front of it. So it's no te bañas. Bañes, sorry. No te and it's the AR verb, so we changed the ending bañes. No te bañes. For affirmative, it goes on the end. So now we're saying you bathe yourself, but it's formal. So it becomes bañete, bañese, bañese. All right, and again, we do want that accent there now because we added the say at the end. So that changes the stress. Bañese, bañese. This is bañesen. Oops. Bañense. Bañense, you all bathe yourselves. And then when we do the negative, the se goes in front of it. So it's no se bañen. Yen. No se bañen. All right. Oh my gosh, a lot to think about. I am going to give you guys a link to all these notes, and you can print them off and refer to them too as you figure all this out. Good luck.